This is a code where we implemented our validation. I think you all guys know how to implement the validation and how we can create a custom exception and global exception there. Last time we implemented that. Okay, so we will add the Spring Security in this project. Now our database, there is a training is there. Okay, inside it we have a user detail. Okay, show you. Now currently we implemented only the user ID, password and username there. So let me first check, is it working fine. Let me clear this tape. Let me drop this and Spring Security and explore it. So let me copy this first. Okay, add in the form.xml. So after adding this, we are able to see the difference in our program. When we will run this, our security is implemented. By default, security is implemented here. So if I will run this, so here if I will I want to try to fetch this API again. Now I will send it. So you will see 401 unauthorized error, right? Because now we implemented the this Spring Security, so we need to pass the authenticated user for this particular API, because we didn't mention like which type of role or which type of API we don't want to secure. So by default all the API which is present in the application will be authenticated. So in the authorization, if I will go in the basic auth and here pass the user and the password is, you will see inside the console using generated security password. So when you will be use this and send this, so currently we don't have any data. So let me try to save this. Okay, for the forbidden, okay, this is the post we cannot be able to post, we can able to get here. Okay, so for using the post, what we have to do, we have to disable the CSRF first. So for this thing, let me create one configuration file. Configuration. Okay, and inside the configuration, let me create one class. Okay, and inside it we have to provide the configuration, then we have to extend our which class, this one is a web security configurer adapter, web security configurer adapter. And when you will go inside this class, okay, and let me download the source. Now it's downloaded, and when you go down, so here you will see in the HTTP security, you will see by default is the authorize request. Okay, and request, any request is authenticated, means whatever request you will provide there, that all request would be authenticated. That's why it's a by default implementation of the Spring Security. Whenever you will implement, then this HTTP security will be run there. So that's why is there. Firstly we have to override this this function, override method, and here you will see HTTP security, that you have to override here, and inside it you have to use http.csrf.disable. okay, now run the program. Okay, now our password is changed, so let me copy this password and go inside the authorization, move it, paste here. Now I will try to post again. Okay, send it. Now we are able to save our data. So because a post we cannot do by default, we have to disable the CSRF token. Then second thing is like currently we are using this generated password security. Okay, now there is one another thing. If we want to change, override this username and password. By default, username is a user and password is generated under the console. If you want to change the username and password and you want to add your custom user and password, then there is a spring dot security dot user dot name, and here I am just using the admin, and then spring dot security dot user dot password, and password I will just use admin at 123. And if I will run the program and if I will use this, like if I will, now you will see in the console there is no any password is showing, right? If I will expand it, so you will see our Spring Boot is started here, but password is not here because we use our custom username and password. So let me try with the previous one first. So okay, sorry, we have to enable our security first. Okay, in the web security configuration we have to enable web security. Okay, and then we disable this thing, but we have to do one thing. We have to implement this default super.config. Yeah, okay, then http dot csrf dot disable. Okay, now let me try again. Okay, now it's a 401. Let me try with the basic auth and try with this username and password. Now we are able to access that. Okay, and same thing will be happening with the post also. Let me show you. Okay, okay, now 3 is there. Okay, now what happened here, we just change our custom username and password. Okay, but this is not our implementation. We don't want like that, right? We want from our database. So but before moving to that, I just want to show you one thing. Like when I pass the authentication, right? So in the header you will see here there is a cookies. Inside the cookies you will see there is a JSession ID, right? And in authorization there will be one basic key is there. Now I already passed my credential here. If I will select the no auth, okay, and again I will try to access this, so I am able to access. We don't want to send the authentication every time. Just one time we need to send the authentication, then it will store in a security context. So for this I just want to show you one PPT. In the Spring Security, these are some most common questions the interviewer can ask you when you will be given the interview on the Spring Security. That time they can ask you the questions like how can we implement the security to web or mobile applications so that there won't be any security breaches in the application. That can be one question. Then how to store password, validate them, encode, decode them using industry standard encryption algorithm. So that also can be asked. Then users and role, how to maintain the user level security based on their roles and granted associated to them. Then multiple logins, how can we implement a mechanism where the user will log in, only use and start using the application. Then there is a concept is fine grained security, how can we implement the security at each level of my application using authorization rules. Then CSRF and CORS, what is a CSRF attack and what is a CORS restriction, how to overcome them, that question. Then JWT and OAuth 2, what is a JWT and OAuth 2, how I can protect my web application using them. Then a last thing is a preventing attack, how to prevent security attack like brute force, stealing of data, session fixation. So these type of common questions can be asked by the interviewer in the term of Spring Security. And there is one more important question is how Spring Security internally work. So before moving ahead, we will firstly discuss what is the component there, how Spring Security internally work. Okay, so internally, as you can see here, there is a sequence of steps. First step, that will be happen when someone call our application, right? Someone call our application through browser or any app consumer with the credentials. Then authentication filter, right? This is a class, and authentication filter which is present in the Spring Security framework will be intercepting the request. Once it intercepts that request, it will try to convert whatever authentication detail that we are receiving from the user, like username and password. So it will convert into a authentication object. Okay, and this authentication object is a base where all the validation of user credential will be validated. Okay, then the second term is authentication manager. So once that particular authentication ID object is built, the request will be passed to the authentication manager, and it is the place where it will identify what is the correspondent authentication provider, right? That my request has to go. Okay, we have many process where we can validate user credential, like you may use the database to validate user credential, or you may use the LDAP server, or you may use the OAuth. So there can be many possible provider that system may have authentication manage. Okay, then the third term is a authentication provider. So once authentication provider receive the request, this is the place where all your business logic will be implemented. When I said business logic, the logic related to your security, like how do I validate username and password. Okay, and you will implement all your logic of security validation inside your authentication provider. Okay, and in the authentication provider we will use two interface. First one is the user detail services, and second one is the password encoder. And the user detail service is the interface which hold user schema. Okay, like how my user details should look like. Okay, and once authentication provider using user detail service and password encoder validator with the input credential are valid or not, okay, the flow will given back to the authentication manager. Then at you will see in the point 7, so it will come back to the authentication manager, and then authentication filter. Okay, firstly it will go in the authentication manager back, and then it will go back to the authentication filter. So now my authentication object which I initially sent from my filter, now they have information like whatever the user is a valid authenticated user or not authenticated, what is the authority, what are the role associated with it. So these type of information they are getting here in an authentication filter. Now object come in the Spring context, sorry, security context. Okay, so here as I show you in the Postman JSession ID, right, that ID store in the security context. Okay, which is the place where we see the data of the user once he or she authenticate themselves, and can be or it might be a valid user. When we hit the API second time, then all sort of details will be stored inside the security context given back to the browser. They will not repeat the flow of this security flow. Okay, and if to pass the same security information, all this flow will not the executed, because we already try to validate the person using the credential. Okay, so this is the security internally work. Okay, and okay, so in the entity, like we already add the user ID, username and password. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to add the role also, because we are going to implement by using the role based authorization. So let me add here role. So it should be create a class inside the entity. Okay, it should be removed. Okay, now inside the role, let me add the entity first. Entity, now move in the user, and let me close other. Okay, and here what we have to do, we have to pass here firstly, because this is a many to one relationship, sorry, many to many relationship, because one user can have a multiple role and multiple role can have a multiple user. Then the next thing what we have to do here, we have to firstly create our custom user detail. Okay, so inside the service, let me create one class. The class is anything, my custom user details. Okay, and when we will use this, so in the custom user details service, what we have to do, we have to implement our user detail service. So user detail 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 service. Okay, then let's implement this. So there is a one method only, load user by username. So, okay, provide it, and inside it, before moving here, we have to add our my user detail is fine. Then we have to provide in a repository, right, one method, find by username. That thing we have to provide here. So user is equal to sorry, not object here, find by user name, and pass the string user name. Okay, by username, let me check username. Okay, so now let's go here. So here what we have to do, we have to firstly override our repository. Okay, at the rate auto wired, and here just provide the user repository. Okay, just remove this, and here what we have to do, firstly we have to firstly get this username. So user, not security, from the our entity class. Okay, user is equal to user repository dot find by username and pass the username here. Okay, then what we have to do, we have to firstly check that this user object which is coming from this method, repository method, it is null or not. If it is null, then we will throw the exception, otherwise we will consume that object. So let me first check that. If user double is equal to null, then what we will do, we will throw the exception. What is the exception? Our username not found exception from the Spring. We didn't create this method, so here we just pass could not able to find the user. Okay, now if we will come under the line number 19, that means user is valid from the database. So here what we have to do now, before moving ahead, let me create one more service class. This one is our user details service. Okay, let me change the name here, custom user details service. Okay, refactor, rename user detail service. Okay, now let me first create one custom user detail, because there is a two thing. One is a user detail and another one is a user detail service. Okay, my custom user details. Okay, and here what we have to do, we have to implement user details from the Spring security. Okay, when we will implement this, so you will see there will be multiple method, get authority, get password and other thing. So let me add this one also. So, and we have to provide the getter and setter, because we have to, because why we use here, because we are going to use this user detail whenever we will implement this my custom user detail. So let me create here private user and user from our entity class. Okay, then provide the password, user dot get password, user dot get username, and rest of thing will be true. Okay, and one more thing is remain here, the granted authority. So here what we have to do, we have to firstly get the roles from our database, and then we have to store inside the simple granted authority. So how we will do that? Firstly just remove this. Okay, and here let me create one object of set of roles, role. Okay, let me import this. So set of role set is equal to new asset. Okay, then what we have to no, we will not use like that. We just use user dot get role set. Okay, now we have a set of rules here. Now what we have to do, we have to add one by one, we have to add in the role, simple granted authority. So let me create one more object of the list of this simple granted authority. Okay, put this. Simple granted authorities list. Okay, so is equal to new array list. Okay, now we created two object, two set. One is a set of rule and another one is a list of simple granted authority. What we have to do, we have to get all the role and store inside this object. So for this thing, what we can do means you can use by the Java 8 also, but I am going to show you how you can implement one by one. So according to you can implement like that. So here for role column role set, we are using the for each method here, and inside the for each method just you have to add this role here. Okay, and just return this object, simple granted authority list. What it is, sorry, role dot get name. Okay, what we have to do, we have to firstly because string we cannot pass here. If you will see here, the error is, you will see the error is make is a simple granted authority, we have to make it. So let me cut here, new simple granted authority, and here we have to pass the name here. Okay, now our custom user detail class is done. Just save it, and here before returning it, just return new my custom user details and pass the user here inside it. Inside it, what it's saying, create a constructor. Okay, here we didn't create a constructor. Let me create a constructor first. Sorry, public my custom user details, and inside it pass the user. Okay, and just pass the this dot user is equal to user. Okay, now yeah, it's done. Okay, so now our my custom user details is done, my custom user details service is done. Now what we have to do, we have to come under the our configuration. Okay, lots of the main parts is done. Okay, where we are going to validate a user, that part is done. Now we are going to handle our flow of the program. So for this thing, let me remove this, we don't need this. And here okay, so what we have to do, we have to firstly in the controller we have a 4-5 mapping here. Okay, we will see for the post mapping, get mapping, and discrete mapping. So for this thing, let me do one thing first. Go inside the here. Okay, what we have to do in the security, firstly if we will not define any password encoder, so it will store our password in a simple text, which we don't want, right? So for this thing, let me add some bean here. For first thing is we have to create a bean of currently we are using the Bcrypt password encoder, so let me create one bean here. So public Bcrypt password encoder. Okay, and here just return Bcrypt password, sorry, new Bcrypt password encoder. That's it. So first thing is we implemented our Bcrypted password. Now another thing, we have to pass we have to pass our user custom user detail service also. We have to create a bean for that. So we have to just return user detail service, and inside it we will return our custom. Okay, so user detail service, and here we will return our new custom, my custom user detail service. Okay, and mark as a bean here. I have to implement the DAO authentication provider here. Okay, that bean I forgot there. So for that, inside it, public DAO authentication provider. Okay, and authentication provider, and inside it we have to just provide. Let me first create one object, DAO authentication provider. Authentication provider is equal to new authentication provider. Then here we have to set our user details and password encoder here. Okay, so DAO authentication provider dot, here you will see set user details service, and inside it we have to pass our this pin, sorry. Okay, and same like we have to pass for the password encoder. So DAO set password encoder, copy this. Okay, now just return this DAO authentication provider. Okay, so this pin is also created. Now second is means a last one more pin we have to create, which one is our in a configuration there is a authentication manager, right? So that let me not create a bean, we can just override that. So just generate it, and inside the override, so you will see in a configure we have first one is a web security and another one is a authentication manager builder. So we are going to use this one. So authentication manager builder, just remove it, and here we have to just pass auth dot authentication provider, and inside it we have to just pass authentication provider. That's it. So our web security configuration, all the bean and whatever configuration we want to override, that is done. Now we will handle our flow and role also we will manage here. So first thing, like currently in our table, if I will refresh this, so currently we don't have any table. Okay, and we want to store some data inside our user table. So for the first thing, if I will run this program, nothing can be do by myself because all the request is secured. Okay, and for the security we have to firstly disable our security or permit all the security, so we can add some user there, because currently in the table we don't have any user. So for this thing http dot authorize request dot and not enter, just any request dot permit all, then then at the last and dot form login. Form login is by using the form login you are able to access your API by the browser where the login form will be open. So if you will not use that, so you will not able to use by the browser. Then second thing is and then form basic, HTTP basic. Okay, so in the HTTP basic, now when we will add the HTTP basic, we are able to access our API through the Postman or curl. So now we are permitting all the requests. So let me run the program as this. Okay, now our table is there. Now if I will try to access this, you will see in the post, let me copy from here the post, press this user. Now we have this one. Let me copy this, the body, and let me remove this user ID and this ID. Okay, so I will add 7 at 1 2 3. Then I'm providing the admin here, then just send. So it will store, but my password is 7 at 1 2 3. Okay, because we didn't use this, right? Bcrypt encoder for our storing the data. Let me check. Okay, so let me just okay, let me drop this one. Let me drop this one and let me implement the bcrypt for the password. So just minimize this, and inside the service, this one, inside the user service, this one is a create user, right? And here we have to add. So let me auto wire my bcrypt here first. Auto wire, so bcrypt password encoder, then inside it here what we have to do, we have to pass the we have to change our password, and firstly we have to collect the password from the user, and then we will encode it, and then we will save inside our DB. So string enc encrypt pwd. Okay, then here bcrypt password encoder dot encode, and here you will get user dot get password here, and then you have to set this one. So user dot set password and enc password. Okay, now if I will run the program, and we are able to store some data. So let me store this one. Okay, now let me save again. Okay, now there is a validation failed, right? What is the issue? Issue is showing it is given that password should be minimum 2 character and maximum 10 character. This type of validation we provided there. Okay, when we will encrypt our password, then the length of the password is increased. Okay, and currently we implemented the max 10. So let me change inside the entity. Okay, inside the entity there is a password. So let me comment this one. And one more thing, like you will see, let me refresh this. Inside the user detail you will see the password length is 10. Okay, but like we are going to store the encrypted encoded password. Okay, so their length can be around 15 to 20 around. Okay, so what we can do here, let me comment this size validation for the password first. Okay, then there is a one annotation column, we all know that. Okay, but inside the column we can pass the length also, 1000. Okay, and again drop this table. Okay, and run again. Now it is stored. Okay, and inside the table, just refresh this, and in the user utility we are getting 100 here. Okay, now we are able to store our admin here. Let me add some more different type of user. So Divya, and let me add let's suppose the task which I was going to give you. The task is like we are going to create one, we can say, mm, a blogging type of application. Okay, in the blogging we have a admin, we have a author, we have a creator. Okay, this type of user we have. So let me add one authority like editor. Okay, and save this. Okay, now we have a two type of user, Savan for the admin, Divya for the editor. Okay, then now we saved our data. Now what we will do, we will just add our security. Yeah, let me close other. Okay, now we will revoke our this permit all thing, and we will add our custom uh, permission for the particular API. So for this thing, let me comment on this line, and here what we have to do, we have to use ant matcher. Okay, and inside the ant matcher we have to provide the URL, whatever URL we want to authorize. So let's suppose users, so API slash users, so slash API slash users. Okay, then with the ant matcher we have to provide has authority. Okay, has authority. So there you will see like there is a has role. Okay, has authority, has any authority, and has any role. Okay, so what is happening here, if you will use the has role, okay, then what you have to do, you have to pass the role here. Okay, role underscore, and what is the name of the role there. Okay, but in the case of authority you don't need to pass the role inside the parameter. Okay, and authority, and same like in a has any authority or has any role. So like if we want to pass multiple roles for that particular API, so we will use any authority or any role if we have a multiple for that particular REST API. So like in this case currently we are just going to provide only one user. Okay, so sorry, so this one is only for the admin. Okay, and then what we have to do, we have to say to our Spring Security that this type of API only authorized by the admin, and what they have to do for that request, any request should be authenticated. Okay, now run the program. Okay, now it's running. Okay, let me check. Now it should be authenticated. Let me try send it. So this one is a 401. Okay, now go inside the authorization, select the basic auth, and let me okay, just change it to get. Let me check. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to provide, let me check with the no auth also, send it 401. Okay, now go inside the basic auth and try to access with the Divya. So Divya 23, send it. So currently 403 forbidden error for the Divya. Okay, let me try with the admin user 7, then 7, and when I click on it, now we are able to access this detail. Okay, if I will select the no auth and again I will hit the API. Now we are able to access. We don't need to pass the authentication second time, because we will see inside the cookies there is a JSON ID is present here, so we don't need again for this thing. If I will remove this, okay, if I will remove this and then I will try to send it, then it will be 401 error. Okay, so only first time we need authentication detail, because and then it will store in a security context. Okay, whenever we will send again the same request, so that time it will collect from the security context and send back to the browser. We don't, that circle will not, the flow will not running again. Okay, in the case of second time. Then the other thing is there is a one more thing is there. There is one more annotation is enable. Okay, enable global method security. Okay, and inside it we have to pass here the pre-post enable true. Okay, by implementing this annotation, what leverage we will provide here, we don't need to pass like AND measure here or authenticated here. What we will do, we just commented it. Okay, and inside the controller, and one more thing I want to show you before moving ahead, like in the controller you will see like API/user. okay, this is a get mapping. Then there is another API which is /API/user. This one is also a post mapping, right? So how you will tell our Spring Security by using this thing, how you will be tell Spring Security like this get mapping should be accessed by the editor, and this post mapping should be accessed by only for the admin. How you will be tell that? Because here the Spring Security don't know like which type of method you are going to tell. He will just know, okay, API/user you want to authorize for the admin. Okay, so that means the admin can access the post mapping and get mapping also, but the editor or creator or any other user, okay, they cannot access. But we want to give this get mapping to the another user. Okay, means the post mapping should be for the admin, okay, and get mapping should be for the admin and which one is editor. Okay, this is our requirement. So how we will do that? So for this thing, like what we will do, in the AND measure there is a one more parameter we can pass here, like HTTP method dot, like we want only for the post, okay, and comma. Okay, and for the other one, for the get mapping, we need, for the get mapping we need multiple user, right? Admin and editor. So for this thing, how we will do that? We'll just use any. Okay, and and inside it we have to provide here editor. Okay, like that. Okay, so by like that you can implement this functionality, but we will see by the another one, which one is this enable global method security. Okay, when we enable this, what privilege we will what leverage we have there, we can use here there is a one more annotation, pre-authorize. Okay, pre-authorize, and inside it we have to pass has authority, and inside it we have to pass admin. Okay, right, and row. Okay, and inside here postman, there is one more thing, as a thought is there. Like I'm just missing sorry this. Okay, and like this one I just want to give only, firstly let me check with the editor only. Okay, so okay, and let me copy this. Okay, I just add this as authority. So this thing with the user ID get mapping we are giving to the admin user, and for the all we are giving here and make it editor. Okay, now let me run the program. So let me check here. So get mapping, currently it's at no auth, so it should be 401. Okay, now provide the authentication here, and okay, firstly let me check with the admin because we already provide the authority to admin, so it should be accessed by the admin. So now we are able to access with this admin. So let me change it and make the editor username Divya, and as per our implementation Divya cannot be access this API. So let me send this again. So access is denied, 400 bad request. Okay, fine. So that means Divya is not able to access this API. Editor cannot access this API, admin can be accessed. Let me check with this one. So editor, right? So user ID. So this Divya, which is the editor, able to users. Okay, is able to access this API 1. Let me check this. Okay, Divya is able to access. Now let me check with the admin. So admin is not able to access. Okay, now we want to provide this means same thing you can use with this admin. Okay, let me show you this get mapping. This get mapping we want to this privilege to the admin also. So what we have to do, we have to add the any here, then with the comma and add the admin here. Okay, and run the program. Now admin should be able to access this get mapping here. So let me check. Okay, now this API can be accessed by the admin. So last time it's showing that access is denied. Let me see. Now we are able to access with the admin also, and let me try with the editor. So send it. Now like that we can be able to access with the admin and editor both. Okay, so for this session, like we implemented a role-based authorization basic authentication.